Hello, everybody, and welcome to another FGs and Threes podcast. I'm Jaden Rogers. Today, we're joined with Ryan Martell, Zach, and Zara. And today, we're going over basically everything that is happening in the NFL today. All the coach firings, all of the playoff previews, who didn't make it, who did make it, and who we think are going all the way. So, Ryan, what do you where are we going to start off with today? What do you want to start off with? Like I said, this was your idea. Don't put this on me.
Okay, deal. I like to start with the coach firings. There's been a couple interesting ones. There's been a couple that we've been waiting all year, and there's been one firing that still hasn't come, and we'll get to that very shortly. So I might as well. We'll start off in order. So technically, the first coach firing was John Gruden way back in Week 5. We don't need to go into why he was fired. I think everybody by now knows why.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Raiders, off of that firing, made the playoffs, which of course we will talk about them later on. But very impressive by... What's his fucking name?
I don't know his name. Hold on, I gotta look
like
up.
Rich something?
What is this coach's name?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it's not that I don't know the name. It's like it's just a Rick Bisaccia.
Rick Bus. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He looks like a bank robber.
Rich Bisaccia. Oh. He's done an amazing job with these Raiders, and honestly, if he doesn't get signed by the Raiders, I can see him potentially getting signed by a different team because I think he's done a very good job taking over for the Raiders. They started the year after John Gruden was fired. I'm pretty sure they were 2-3.
And then they also have the Ruggs whole thing with the Henry Ruggs?
Oh, yeah.
Or was that after?
The Raiders have had so much.
Yeah.
I must say they had Arnett too.
There
was another guy.
Didn't Nate Hobbs get a rookie?
Yeah,
Nate Hobbs. DUI? Yeah. It's Vegas, man.
But
you don't see that happen anywhere else. It's just Vegas.
What they accomplished it's just insane. I think he deserves a real shot at their head coach.
He does.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, like I said, I think he has not that opportunity now to get a job as a head coach somewhere else, or at least be retained on the Raiders staff. Because I think at this point he's that respected where the guy coming in has to keep him. Because it's hard for him to, I guess, move up to a different, like a coordinator job just because he is a special teams coordinator. So there's not really much you can do other than head coach at this point.
Yeah.
And then next up, the best firing ever.
Anyone got thoughts on the Raiders? Or is that it?
Go ahead, Ryan. I know you want to say it.
No.
The worst
Does
hiring,
anyone have any
the best
thoughts on
firing
Raiders?
ever.
No,
Mr. Urban Meyer.
We're not.
so
Does
mean.
anyone else want to
Kicker
talk
of all
about the
kickers.
Raiders?
No, you're so mean to him. Fucking
No,
asshole.
I think we're good on the Raiders.
Because he's pissing me off with the. Okay, here we go. You want me to get mad? You want me to get freaking mad? Give me one.
I do.
Give me 1 second.
All right, he's getting it.
You
You
see
just
this
gotta
guy?
say Urban Meyer.
I don't know why he
kicked
gets
You
so
see this
mad.
guy
He
right
knows
here?
Urban was a terrible player.
Oh
Or
my
was a
God.
terrible
You see
coach.
him?
He knows
Watch
it.
turn
The
around.
jersey.
You see this? This
Brought
guy
up the
just
jersey.
wasted a goddamn year. He wasted it. Because fucking Urban Meyer. 2-9. No, sorry, 2-10. 2-10.
Let him go.
Are you kidding me? You got shut out by the Titans. You deserve to get fucking fired. You don't come home with a team after a Week 5 loss against the Bengals. Fucking bitch.
The Bengals are a good team. I'm just saying.
Whatever.
Yeah, they won the
Yeah.
NFC North.
Shut up.
You said they lost to the Titans and the Bengals like they're terrible teams. You're talking about like five of the top
Titans are the
We got
one
shut
top
out.
five teams.
It's the fact that we got shut out by the Titans.
The Titans are the 1 seed. They have like a top 10 defense, I think.
Wasn't this when Derrick Henry was here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Derrick Henry was not there. We lost
Oh,
2
no?
nothing. That was his last game as a NFL head coach. Probably his last game as a coach in general. Urban Meyer's a fucking fraud. Don't ever trust Urban Meyer with anything. He's a fucking bitch.
Don't worry.
Fuck him.
All you gotta do is just kick your kicker. That's all you gotta do.
Kicker of kickers, man.
You know what's funny? He was fired before that came out. They determined he was fired.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that came out, and I
Everything
was
just
like,
got worse.
he kicked Josh Lambo? Why did he kick Josh Lambo?
Not only did he kick Josh Lambo, he cut him. He cut Josh Lambo.
He cut him too?
He cut him 3 weeks later. After he went on the IR, he's like, you know what? We don't need you. Boom. Get out of here. Now we have this bum, Matthew Wright, which actually he's not a bum. He won his 2 games.
I'm about to say, didn't he get
He's
to
pretty
the
good.
first win?
Yeah.
And you know what? He should have stayed overseas after that win. He should have went to the fucking Netherlands and went to the red light district. I would have been fine with that.
Why
No.
does he hate him?
Is he that bad?
Why do you hate him?
Wait, who's bad? Urban or Matt Wright?
Not right.
Oh no, Matt Wright's fine.
You said
I-
keep. Oh, you're talking about
You
Urban.
just
Keep him
said
over
he-
there. Oh.
I'm talking about
He's talking about keep
Urban.
Urban
No.
in the red light district.
Oh,
Yeah.
Got it.
Urban can go get lap dances in the red light districts. I heard that you can get it for like $40 now. That's
Probably cheaper than that if you know the right
Urban
person.
got the cash.
exactly.
Yeah, people know who
Meyer,
Urban
he'll-
is over there.
No, Urban Meyer's. Urban Meyer,
He's a
he's
legend
going for
over there.
$100. He's getting the fine axe.
He's getting the
But
exotic.
the real problem with
STDs.
Jackson. the-
Anyway,
No,
because that wasn't the only thing with Urban. He was like constantly yelling at his assistant coaches. He was blaming everything on them, just like Jags fans blame everybody else on the team other than Trevor. He was just blaming all the other coaches, blaming all the other players. He was a terrible. He just put it in a terrible environment for the Jaguars, and him leaving was probably the best thing for the entire league. Because him leaving didn't like
It was
allow
the
people
greatest
like
thing.
no, yeah, it was the greatest thing that happened this year.
Yes.
Such a
Well,
spectacular
okay.
fashion. Him going out was great.
What happened this Sunday, Week 18?
Yeah.
That was the greatest thing that has happened this year.
Yeah, I feel like what happened with the
Yeah.
Jags against the Colts, I feel like that's what was the greatest thing for a Jags fan. Only because they knocked the Colts out of the playoffs, they got the first pick still, and they beat the Colts.
Yeah. You had like the best Sunday possible for you, bro.
It
Yeah.
sucks because I wanted to see
You
JT
know
in the
what's funny?
playoffs, but
I mean,
You know what's
I'm mad
funny?
that it happened, but
I'll give you.
You know what's
that
funny
one.
about that? I was working Sunday, so I wasn't able to watch any part of the game. And then they're like, "Go Ryan, go on break," at like 2:45. So I'm like, okay. I got home, instantly put the game on. The game comes on to the part where Trevor Lawrence gets the high snap, rolls right. Marvin Jones back in the end zone.
Wow.
that.
That was the happiest I've been for the Jaguars in maybe 3 years.
Wait, so they
Like,
told you
I've
to go on
never
break and you went home?
screamed- I never screamed so loud though since the 2017 season. Like that was so fun watching that. And then
I
just
remember
our
that.
Defense. Yes.
I believe the Jags beat the Patriots in the 2017 season. You were
No,
over at my
20
house
2018.
and
No,
you were screaming at my face, or was that 2018? You were
2018.
screaming that entire time.
Keelan Cole, one-handed catch.
That-
Stephon
And then it
Gilmore.
was Miles
Downhill from that moment on.
That Miles Jack wasn't down.
Okay, so the real
Yeah,
problem
Miles Jack
with
was still
Jackson,
healthy.
And
That's
what
all.
Jags Twitter, what the Jags fans, this is what I've been going through the last 2 weeks for all you non-Jags fans out there. You got Jaden's a
Everyone,
Patriots fan,
basically.
Zach's a Ravens fan, Zara's a Packers. She's a Packers owner, not just a fan. She's the owner. She's a.
The day we talked her into buying it was the best thing ever.
You buy
Alright,
stock in the
well,
pack? What
The
happened?
Packers.
You know
Wait,
those
what?
shares
You bought
of
stock in
Packers
the,
that
you
could
bought stock
buy?
in the Packers?
Yeah, I'm a Packers owner.
Do you have your plaque?
All right.
I do. It came.
Well, I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I don't have it with me right now.
Oh.
Oh boy, here
I'm
comes
not in my
Jaden. He's
house.
gonna about to show like all 5 plaques that he has. I don't know what he has though.
For what?
Wait, who does he like?
The Patriots. Yeah, that Patriots
Oh,
hat
Patriots?
Yeah, Jaden's. Well, he's Connecticut. You know, he's a normal Connecticut. You know,
on. I'm about to
native,
say,
where he
Martell's the
decides to be-
weird one.
Jaden's a normal Connecticut native, where he decides to be a fan of the sports that are around the area.
I'm still trying to figure out
And
how
then
you
you
became a
decided to be a
Jags
fan.
fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why
so,
did you
like,
become
I
a
still
Jags
don't
fan?
understand it.
Oh boy, here we go. What do you do?
Oh my God, he
Go
got.
ahead.
Oh my
Go ahead.
God. Oh my God.
Hey, once Trevor's career is done in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna have enough room on my hands.
1-10 season. 2-3.
There goes the Pats fan.
Oh my god. I'm speechless.
Oh my God.
So anyway, for all you non-Jags fans out
I
there,
feel like I need to
that's
get my
like
Lamar
99%
jersey
of
now.
the population. What we have done in the last 2 weeks, what the Jags fans, Jags Twitter in particular, has done, we are fed up with our GM, Trent Baalke. He's terrible at his job. If you guys know his resume, you would know. He has fired 5 coaches in the last 6 years of his GM tenure. So that was the last 5 years of the 49ers and the first year of the Jaguars GM.
Trying to get my
He's
rings
fired
through these
5
sleeves.
coaches.
No, didn't he also get rid of like the entire 2017 Jags defense?
No. He was their GM then, and that was Tom Coughlin.
Who was the guy before Coughlin? Who was the guy after Coughlin?
Dave Caldwell. No, Tom Coughlin wasn't even a GM. He was our football operations, director
AKA,
of football
he was
operations.
everyone's
No,
daddy
but
and
who's
told
the
him what
one
to
that
do.
got rid of? Wait, Coughlin was the one that got rid of everyone? Or, I know he was
So-
at the time.
Why are you making me talk about Jags history? Like, I don't want to relive this history.
We don't know it.
Fair enough.
Nobody
I
knows
just
it.
want to know why Ramsey, Boye,
Ramsey got traded because he cried. I remember
Campbell.
that. He
No.
wanted out.
Yeah, the back.
After hearing what happened, like what really happened, I respect what Ramsey did, and that's why I love Ramsey. I mean, obviously being a Jags fan, I loved Ramsey from the start, but there was a part there where I did hate him. But then, once everything came out and like he explained everything, Tom Coughlin still hasn't rebutted anything. I have to go with Jalen Ramsey. So basically, 2017, Tom Coughlin was a cancer for our locker room. He was in there every day, but he was basically like he wasn't really coaching them because he wasn't a coach, but like he was just kind of like directing players around and like finding a ton of players for like not showing up for certain stuff. But, like if they were injured during the off season, he would find them if they didn't show up to the facility. But like some guys live in California, obviously they're not going to go to Jacksonville to get health treatment when they're in California in the off season.
Yeah.
So he kept finding them. Like Dante Fowler was like a big recipient of that.
Didn't he get like $900,000 in fines?
Yeah, like it was insane.
Ridiculous.
So that was one thing. But during the 2017 season, Jalen Ramsey basically said in a podcast a couple years ago that we hated Tom Coughlin so much that we just played good despite Tom Coughlin. And 2017 happened, and then Tom Coughlin did not want to pay anyone after the 2017 season. And he basically him and Doug Marrone chose Blake Bortles over Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, AJ Boye, Tayshaun Gibson, Barry Church, Miles Jack, Telvin Smith. Well,
Telvin Smith also retired.
Telvin Smith did
Yeah.
some, he got inside an elementary school and did
I'll
some
take that one off because Telvin
So
Smith
we're
is
just-
kind of a pedophile.
Yeah, so we're just
I didn't
gonna
hear
like
about
kind
this.
of
I'm gonna have to
like,
look
hey,
this
I
up.
love you, Telvin, pre-2018. After 2018, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I love you, OJ, before the 90s.
If it doesn't fit,
So
you
all
must
that,
quit.
so yeah, they chose Blake Bortles over the defense. The defense especially didn't like that because then Blake Bortles, shit the bed the next year. Got Nick Foles. But at that point, We've already traded Dante Fowler, which I was fine with. Dante Fowler was a fucking joke. Paul Posluszny
Not
retired.
anymore.
He's pretty good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're right. Like, he was not good on the Jags. I agree with you there. But he has turned his career around.
He's not worth a third overall pick, but he's still good.
Yeah.
It seems to be the case with
yeah,
all
It's
the
more like,
Jags.
he's like Clowney, where it's not like what you expect out of like a top 5 pick, but it's still
Yeah.
not a bad career. It's basically like Jaden
Yeah,
Clowney.
that's why
I will
people
say,
don't
though-
talk about him. He's good, but since he was drafted so high, they think he's bad, but he's still still playing really well.
Ain't he on the
Yeah.
Falcons? Is he on
Clowney?
the Falcons now?
Clowney is on
Isn't he back on
No.
the
Browns.
Rams?
I think
No,
he is.
Fowler.
No,
Oh,
Fowler.
Fowler.
He might be on the Falcons now. I thought he was on the Rams.
Rams. I
Oh,
think
no,
that
he
was
might-
Rams.
He did get it. No,
After
he got it.
Fowler left, I didn't give a shit about Fowler. I
No,
gotta be
he's on
honest.
the Falcons. I believe he had a great contract with like the Falcons.
I think he led the team in stats.
It's Leonard Floyd that I'm thinking of because he also
Mm-hmm.
was like a top 10 pick for the Bears. Not
Leonard-
very good on the Bears, but he's been
on the-
doing pretty good on the Rams.
Leonard, yeah,
Hey,
no,
she got
Leonard
Robert
Floyd's- Well, Leonard Floyd's always been a good linebacker. They just
They just didn't really use him correctly.
well, the thing with Leonard Floyd is that he wanted more money than the Bears were willing to give him. That's why he left.
But also Leonard Floyd didn't really do,
He didn't do much.
What
Like,
the
he was
Bears
not worth a
expected
top
of him.
10 pick,
And-
but he was decent.
and they also had Roquan at the time, like when they got rid of Leonard Floyd.
Yeah,
Roquan's a
they
fucking
had just gotten Roquan.
I love
Dude's a
watching
beast.
Yeah.
Okay, we got off track though. Let's get back.
We spent like 20 minutes on the freaking Jags.
Yeah, that's like our radio show.
Anyway,
It's literally
long
like
story
our
short,
point.
Trent Baalke needs to be fired. We showed up to Indianapolis wearing clown suits and all of that. We won the game, and yet we have still not fired Trent Baalke. So at this point, we're gonna hire Bill O'Brien. I'm not gonna be a Jags fan anymore, and I can't take it anymore. I can't take
I
it.
saw.
I'm
Sean
done.
you
Collins
know
does
what?
not want to
This
win.
man grabs one more piece of Patriots memorabilia. I swear to God.
I want to say something about Bill O'Brien. He was an awful GM, but he wasn't a bad coach in my opinion.
No, he's an
Like he
awful
did for the
coach.
Texans.
Did
No,
you not see the
I'm
Georgia
he
sorry.
kind of turned that whole Texans around. He brought them to playoffs, 2-3 times?
But yeah,
I think he
he's.
brought them to playoffs like 2 times before Watson was even there.
But
Then
once,
they did get Watson.
but once you see the
The
playoffs, you need to
AFC
fire
South
him.
was weak. The AFC South, after Peyton Manning left for like a good 5 years, was the weakest division of football. And some couldn't argue it's still the weakest division. I personally don't think it is. I think it's, middle of the road. But from like
still think-
2013 to 2017, the AFC South was terrible. Titans were 8-8. Titans literally went 8-8
No,
from 2012
I
to
agree with
2018.
you. Like the Texans were the best team in that division for most of the time. Yes, I agree.
Because
with
they
you.
went 9-7. They got lucky.
But the
few
Texans
times
also
they
could
went
not win a
10-6.
playoff game. The
A
Texans
few
couldn't
times,
win
yeah,
a playoff
but a
game.
few times, I agree. But no, yes, Bill O'Brien would not be the ideal option, but he's better than Urban Meyer. But it's still hilarious when I saw that report today. I'm like, this is the most Jags thing ever.
If y'all hire Bill O'Brien, I'm done. I'll be so.
You should hire Matt Nagy. We know he's great. You got a coach of the year.
So moving on to the next.
Any coach other than Urban Meyer would be an improvement in Jacksonville. There's no way they could get worse. There's no way they could get worse.
We can't. We pause unless we go Joe
Hugh
Judge.
Jackson. Hugh Jackson.
That,
Hell,
that
get
might,
Kirby
that might,
Smart
that
at
might
this
be it.
point. Go get Kirby Smart.
Unless we. Kirby Smart literally just
You
won a
should just
championship.
pick a
I don't know.
quarterback
know.
for the next 5 years. That's all. Just
should
keep
get Hugh
getting first
Jackson.
overall quarterbacks.
Hire Greg Roman.
So the next coach that got fired
Freddie
got
Kitchens.
fired Sunday morning before Week 18, all the festivities and all that. The Broncos coach Vic Fangio, 3 seasons with
Okay.
the coach.
This also didn't make sense to me.
3
Because-
seasons with the Broncos, 19 and 29. All 3 years, though, I want to point this out. All 3 years had a top 10 defense, and this year going
Really?
Okay, now, yeah, but this defense has been great, and we've all talked about this so much. But the thing that doesn't Vic Fangio, we've known he was a defensive mind. We saw this in the Bears. He was a great defensive coordinator for the Bears. Then the Broncos knew what they were getting out of him when they hired him. They have been not an awful team, but not an amazing team in the sense. They've been very mediocre. But that is because of the quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what
I
say.
believe, I fully thought that Vic Fangio would gotten like extended. I had no idea he would get fired because I thought he did really well with this Broncos team. They nearly got a playoff spot with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a quarterback and they kept Vic Fangio, they probably could have made the playoffs next year.
Yeah. They just need a really good OC.
But the thing that I have seen the Broncos doing is they're interviewing Nathaniel Hackett, which is the Packers offensive coordinator.
Because they want to bring in Aaron Rodgers.
The Packers, they're now interviewing the Packers QB coach, Luke Getsy.
Aaron Rodgers.
I'm like, the QB coach is going to be the head coach. I understand that's an offensive mind, but they really want Rodgers. And if that's the reason why they got rid of Fangio, then maybe that's understandable.
I mean,
but that's also fact is the Packers have to trade Rodgers.
Yeah. That's
Rodgers
all.
Rodgers is going to lose in the conference championship again and then go straight to the Broncos.
I also think that you didn't have to fire Vic Fangio.
I don't either.
Vic Fangio was not the problem. The problem...
He wasn't.
The problem was that John Elway, and this has been a problem since Peyton Manning left, can't draft a QB.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, he's awful at it.
Yes, the last 3 years, Vic Fangio has, had an opinion, but they only drafted one QB, and that was Drew Lock.
And it's Drew Lock.
I fully think they could have. It still doesn't make sense to me why they didn't get Justin Fields. It just doesn't make sense to me. They're a QB needy team. All they really needed was a QB. They have pretty decent weapons.
Patrick Surtain was definitely.
He's great.
Was definitely needed.
Yes,
this
he
year.
is
If
great.
they didn't have Patrick Surtain, their defense is not as good as it is.
I agree with you, but quarterback is the most important position of football.
I also agree.
And they need a quarterback. And Teddy Bridgewater, after all his head injuries, his knee injuries, he's done for. Drew Lock, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Maybe
he's just
not awful.
He's just not what we all thought he would. I mean, yeah, they were close to being the Chiefs, but like
he's garbage.
The Broncos also always play the Chiefs close. I mean, division rival.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah,
because they have like one of the best rushing duos in the entire league. With Javonte and Melvin. They were scoring touchdowns left and right. It's just the passing game that needs work.
Javonte Williams, once Melvin Gordon's gone, he's going to be better. Not better. He's going to be Nick Chubb, basically, in my opinion.
The thing with the Broncos, too, it's literally just a QB. Like you said, Javonte Williams. No line. They paid Garrett Bowles. He took a little step back this year, but especially the last 2 years, he's definitely lived up to that first-round pick. Quentin Hurts was a steal in round 3 at guard. The rest of their O-line, is decent, or they're gonna play. And then they have weapons: Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, fantastic route.
Yeah. Tim Patrick.
Tim Patrick's been very underrated.
So
they also have Albert.
Weapons.
They also have the backup to Albert Ogunbeneg, or however you pronounce his name. I butchered that, but
Alberto,
he's honestly a very good red zone threat, which I've been when I watched the Broncos games.
So the Broncos have all these weapons. They literally just need a QB.
That's all.
And Teddy Bridgewater, not that he's a bad QB, but he's not a franchise guy. He's literally a bridge quarterback. So
he's also just too injury prone.
Sadly, too injury prone. Once in a blue moon or in a different, reality, Teddy Bridgewater does not tear his ACL. It's a 5 million pieces, and he's a franchise QB for the Vikings. But that's not how it works. Sadly, that's what happened, and now he's basically just Ryan Fitzpatrick without the gunslinging.
Yeah.
Broncos just need themselves a Case Keenum. That's all they need. They're one Case Keenum away from winning it all.
Okay, what's the next coach?
So our next coach, we're going in order because they all happened.
Get Baker at that point.
I want to talk about Baker for a second because
I would love to. I love Baker Mayfield.
Baker is the best Browns quarterback in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's not hard.
But he's not that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's really not that good. Like are like the Browns gonna extend him just because he's been the best
I
Browns
want them
quarterback?
to.
He's
I
not
want
that good.
Baker
though.
Mayfield to get the most expensive contract ever, so I get to play him twice a year still. I want Baker to be the Browns quarterback until the day he damn dies.
See, I like Baker, but something about this year he just was awful.
Oh, he was injured to shit and back, but still, he's not that good to begin with.
Baker
Even when he
played.
wasn't injured, he wasn't that good.
He's not good to begin
Baker,
with.
Baker had an injury like every other week. Like week 2, he tore his labrum. Week 6, he tore it even worse. Like it was, he just kept playing through injury. Yes, I will say this: Baker Mayfield was awful. The last month of the year, he was awful. That's when you don't want to be awful. And he did cost the Browns games. He cost them the playoffs. But
I still remember a game with Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry. There was not a single defender around him in the end zone. 5-yard pass, just completely over his head. I'm like, how does that happen? 5-yard pass, no one around Jarvis Landry, and Baker shot it over his head.
I had never seen a wide receiver so mad. He was livid when that happened.
Odell was the problem.
Yeah, Odell was the problem.
Oh God, that video.
To be fair, I will say this: the Browns' offense does play better without Odell than with Odell. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm friends with the Browns fan, and they constantly say this all the time. Like even when they still had Odell on the team, we play better without Odell.
because
say
they run
that.
the ball more. For whatever reason, what's not his fucking name? Stefanski,
Yeah.
believes that when you
Yeah.
have Odell and Landry there to throw the ball more, and that's just his ingrained DNA. And sure, that's fine, but you have Nick Chubb and then Kareem Hunt and then
Well,
whoever the fuck is their third one, you run the ball.
Dearness Johnson.
See, that's what doesn't make sense to me because Stefanski was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings at that time. They had Thielen, Diggs, and Cook. So you would think he knows how to balance between some great receivers and a great running back. But
The
he
difference
clearly
between
didn't.
Thielen, Diggs, and Cooks and Odell, Landry, and Chubb is that Odell wants the ball.
All the time.
Diggs wants the ball all the time too. If you watched him,
Because the,
No, I
the
just don't think
first
he liked
time that
Minnesota.
he
Dearness Johnson played.
constantly, like he just did not like it there. He constantly fought with Kirk. You
I'm about
could
to say,
tell he did not want to be.
he's fine in
Kirk is
Buffalo.
Kirk. I mean, I would fight
He's
with
loving
Kirk.
Buffalo. He's loving Buffalo.
I know he doesn't get the ball all the time.
Because he gets 10 to 15 targets a game and he catches 8 to 10 of them. I mean, who wouldn't?
No, I know. Yeah, but even when he was on the Vikings, like he got so pissed at Kirk Cousins all the time.
Well, yeah, because
Well, it's Kirk
there would be
Cousins.
games. There would be
Kirk
games where he got
Cousins has not been
targeted
that
10 to
bad this
15
year.
times, and there would be other games where he gets targeted 3 times. And he gets like 1 catch because the other 2 were overthrows.
But like that's kind of what you have to sacrifice with a elite running back and a pretty good wide receiver, like 2 pretty good wide receivers.
Because
At that time, is what I'm
Kirk
saying.
was
'Cause
inconsistent in a
Diggs
different
wasn't elite
way.
at that time.
Kirk was not inconsistent playing wise. He still got great stats, like every week.
Yeah,
But when it came to targeting, he never focused on one person. He focused on a different person every week, and that just made others mad around him. He went from one person
Yeah.
in 1 week, and the next week he went to another person, and then each week one person would complain they're not getting their share. He wouldn't share the ball all across the field. It would either be one person has a great day or another person has a great day.
yeah, that makes sense.
Kirk has definitely.
I'm looking
improved
right now
in that.
at Justin Jefferson's targets for this season. 167. Now, granted, Thielen has been hurt every now and then. I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like he's getting better with distributing the ball.
100%. I think. I mean, they also threw the ball a little bit more this year with the fact that Dalvin Cook was injured.
Mhm.
And, Kirk, despite what you want to say about Kirk, he had a great season.
He had a great season.
He turned the ball over very limited. I think it was maybe 10 turnovers in total.
Yeah, I think it was like 8 to
including
10.
interceptions and fumbles. Had over 30 touchdowns, over 4,000 passing yards. I mean, he really dealt this year. It was just the fact that when it came to
It's
crunch
just-
time, Kirk Cousins did not deliver.
But also, people just associate Kirk with just like this bad quarterback, overpaid, crazy contract. But really, no one's really watching. He's just there. He's nothing crazy but he's what you need to build your team around. I feel like if that makes sense.
He's dead center
Like,
in the
he's
quarterback rankings.
consistent enough to win. Like he's a game manager. Like you remember Alex Smith? Of course you remember Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Like he's basically like Alex Smith, where he can get his team to some wins. But he doesn't really have like obviously what Mahomes has, what Rodgers.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean by that, because like we saw that the Chiefs knew they had to get a different type of quarterback, and they got Mahomes. It's just something like that. I feel like that, but the Vikings are fine with Kirk Cousins. Is what I'm saying.
Kirk is just Alex Smith with both femurs intact. That's all.
Yep. Yep.
And moving on. Did we? Oh yeah, we like. I guess this is perfect then. Vikings fired Mike Zimmer on Monday.
Sad time.
They also fired their GM. I don't know his name.
Rick Spielman.
Rick Spielman.
Wow. Rick. Rest in peace.
He was there, I believe, from 2012.
You know, he was there for a decade. Zimmer was
I'm about
there
to say,
since
Rick should not have been fired.
He's made some great
I
draft
think
picks over the
at
years.
this
Like,
point,
No, Vikings fans had it with him. I've talked to a few. They hate him.
yeah, I
Really?
think at this point it's just good to
They've
just
had
clear
it with
house and start over.
But it is a sad time to see Mike Zimmer go.
Mike Zimmer, he'll get a defensive coordinator job somewhere.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like either in a new place, so like if the Bears, Jacks, Raiders, whatever, or even
Bears.
if one of the
He should not
if a
get
defensive coordinator job opens up, he'll definitely take that job. I mean,
He should do exactly what Dan Quinn did. I think for now he's done with head coaching, at least for a few years.
Yeah. So
He should do what Dan Quinn did because it worked perfectly for the Cowboys. Dan Quinn's been great.
100%. And I don't think that the Mike Zimmer, the tenure of Mike Zimmer with the Vikings was terrible. I mean, he brought them to the NFC Championship. They went to the playoffs 4 times.
He's a great coach, but he was just terrible with blowing leads. It was just constant bad crunch time play, bad 2-minute drill. It was he could never close the deal.
It was beautiful. Beautiful.
The last 2 seasons especially, it was just heartbreak
It was
after
awful.
heartbreak for Vikings. Yeah. So the funny thing about the Vikings, they had the most one-score games in the NFL this year with 14. And they lost. All of their losses were by 1 score. Just want to point that out. And their turnover differential was -1. And we just said Kirk Cousins had maybe 10 turnovers. We'll add in, I'm not too sure, so we'll just add in like 5 more fumbles by the running backs, receivers, tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, that means that the defense did not cause turnovers.
I could tell you right now, from watching a pretty decent amount of Vikings games and talking to some Vikings fans, their defense was awful. Front 7 was not that bad, but their secondary was awful.
The secondary has been awful since like the last
Pat
year
Pete,
of Xavier Rhodes.
Pat Pete did not change anything.
Yeah, Pat Pete, he needs to retire. I love Pat Pete. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got him way too past his prime. Like too late to
What is he, 32 now?
It's like 32, 33.
Arizona,
something like that. Yeah.
Cameron Dantzler, the rookie. He's a rookie, so he can.
Wait, I thought he was the rookie last year.
Maybe he was a second-year player. He's very early in his
He
career.
sounds. No, I think he was a rookie last year. Yeah, because they got Bradbury this year.
He's second year.
Yeah, they got. No, I mean they got what's his name? Darisaw.
Yeah.
Darisaw was very good for them. Garrett Bradbury was very good for them. Their O-line was definitely improved.
He had a great catch against the Packers. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I loved it.
Yeah.
The guy that was hilarious.
Because the
O-line was improved.
The defense was also missing Everson Griffin, who had that little freak out earlier in the year, so he had to go away.
Yeah.
Daniel Hunter was also.
But Everson Griffin was way past his prime too, though. That's the thing.
Funny you say that.
The defense was getting old. That's what it mainly was. So, like their best players were just old.
They're old, or they were injured. Daniel Hunter.
And Daniel Hunter, like I mean, How didn't he miss this? Didn't he like somewhere halfway through the season miss the season, or did he play the whole season?
Daniel
I'm not
Hunter was
entirely-
gone since week 6.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So yeah. So the
By the way,
injuries, and I just think it just ran its course in Minnesota. They missed another playoffs. The fans were done. So it made sense to clear house, and whoever gets
Yeah.
the GM job and the head coach job, I mean, you have a
They're
top
a good
wide
team.
receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson, a top running back in the league in Dalvin Cook, a very good game manager now in Kirk Cousins, adopting a very good O-line. You just got to
That's a
rebuild that
stretch.
defense.
I wouldn't say they're a very good O-line, but I think they're serviceable. I still think they need a few more pieces.
Mhm.
But the thing is with the Vikings, they're not signing a head coach until they get a GM.
Yes.
But I think two great candidates, which I pray don't happen, two great candidates for them are Brian Flores or Nathaniel Hackett. And they're interviewing Nathaniel Hackett today, which I pray does not happen because I do not want to see the Packers offensive coordinator go to the Vikings.
That would be the funniest thing ever.
No, I do not want to see that.
I think Vic Fangio should get a head coaching job somewhere. I think
He's going to
his
get
time
passed
in
around the
Denver.
NFC North.
I think his time in Denver, just like it's Brian Flores. I think those are the two coaches that got fired, and we'll talk about Miami in a bit. Those are the two coaches that I think should immediately get head coaching jobs. And I
What-
think
Vic
I-
needs to
Flores
go
would be
somewhere that
perfect.
already has a great OC.
Yes.
Yes.
Or at least an amazing quarterback.
Yeah.
And
And I think either, like you said, Flores or even Fangio would be perfect in Minnesota, because with Flores, we all saw what Miami's defense was the second half of the season. It's just
I'm just scared because if they get Flores, they're going to be a very good team.
yes.
And I
then
pray they don't get Flores.
with Fangio, it's not going to be anything crazy like Flores, but you know you're going to get a top 10 unit.
Yeah.
If you put Flores on the
Sadly.
Vikings now, I would argue and say Super Bowl contender if you put Flores on the Vikings.
They still need some pieces, but
They'd still need
you
some
could
pieces
put them
on
in the
defense.
playoffs,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
A little bit, but
You can at least
put
say
them
they'll
in
be
the
better than the
playoffs.
Packers, because the Packers are losing Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams this offseason.
See, that's what everyone thinks. That's what everyone thinks.
we're gonna
But
do this.
they're
We're gonna do this, and the day that they lose Devontae Adams, me and Martell are gonna walk into the show, and we're just gonna have the fattest fucking grins on our face.
Okay, you know what? This is
This is how I'm
what
going to start the
happens
show.
is,
This is how I'm going to start the show. This
if
is my
Aaron Rodgers stays, Devontae Adams stays. The issue is we have to pay other players like Elton Jenkins, Jair Alexander.
terrible.
I'm pretty sure Zadarius Smith is going to be gone because we don't have enough money to keep him.
Bring him back to Baltimore. The fuck.
He's great, but
I
we've
know.
honestly been managing well this season without him. He is coming back he's back for the playoffs now, which is going to be insane, by the way. But no, what I think Rodgers, it looked like he kind of saved his relationship with Brian Gutekunst, and it sounds like he's happy here. Also, I don't think you're going to put Rodgers in a better situation than the Packers. I seriously don't think the Denver's a better situation than Green Bay. Let's be real here. If he's smart, he would stay on the Packers. And when he stays on the Packers, Devontae Adams stays on the Packers, and they both continuously break all these records.
If you blow this
That's the
shit in the
smartest.
NFC Championship game again,
Stop. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
And you know who they're gonna blow it
You
to
know
this
how
time?
I'm scared. I'm terrified of the Niners.
How about the
Right now,
Cowboys?
all right, anyone but
Literally
them.
both
He
Anyone
caught
but
it
them.
this
Own the
time.
Cowboys.
Amari Cooper back in the end zone. Jair Alexander and a turnstile.
The thing that does scare me is it's going to be Jair's first game back and Zadarius' first game back. That's what's scary. That terrifies me because they haven't had any regular season play
And they're gonna go against
besides
Cooper
the
Cup.
first few weeks.
They're gonna go against Cooper Cup. Good luck with that.
No, because the first game's against the lowest seed. And it's either
So
the Eagles, the Niners, or who are the other teams?
Eagles, Niners. You could play the Cowboys.
No.
We could. No, we can't play the Cowboys. They're the 3 seed.
Oh, never
You only
mind.
be able to play
Who's the 4 seed
Eagles,
then?
I'm like, Jesus
The
Christ.
4 seed is the
Let's go.
Rams.
Or you can play the Rams.
So we either. I'd rather play the Rams than the Niners.
You can play
I'm
Rams,
terrified of the
Cardinals,
Niners.
Eagles,
Why are you
Niners.
I know where you're terrified of the Niners.
The amount of
2019
times the
NFC Championship?
Niners. No, that's not even it. The amount of time the Niners have knocked out the Packers in the playoffs is terrifying.
They're gonna call up Colin Kaepernick for this one game.
Stop.
And with
He's just
that,
gonna run for like
the
280
next coach,
yards.
The next.
No,
the
you know what?
next-
No, what's gonna happen? Raheem Mostert's gonna get just somehow. He's gonna return.
He's gonna magically heal his ACL
So the next
This is
coach.
April.
or his Achilles or
Derrick
whatever.
Henry did it. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it.
Nah,
Cam
chill out.
Akers did
Nah,
it.
they did it at the wrong time.
Cam
You could have came back
I-
a
No,
week
Cam
18.
Akers.
Can we-
no, no. So
we
here's the
talk
thing
about Cam Akers? 'Cause
He
that's
tore his
insane.
Achilles. He tore his Achilles.
I know he tore his Achilles, but he's back in 6
He's back.
months. That is crazy.
He's
He
back.
played against the Niners. I mean, I think it's too soon. But what do we know?
I don't
Like,
know.
Steroids.
none of the
I
trainers.
think it's modern medicine.
Whole bunch of
And he
steroids.
just, and I also think, I also think Cam Akers is just like a freak of nature. I mean, that man maybe has 0% body fat.
Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of Cam Akers?
I don't think so.
Dude's
Like
a
I've seen him
tank.
play, but I don't think I've seen like just a picture.
The dude's
Like,
a fucking tank.
I happened to like see just like a workout video over the summer. I swear to God, there's no body fat in that man.
That's
Just-
insane.
It was just chiseled. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Tore his Achilles, I was like, ah. And then
Dude's a
like a
fucking
month
tank.
ago when they're like, yeah, he can come back. I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. Wasn't surprised when Adam Schefter said that.
Dude's a fucking
Anyway.
Yeah, that's insane.
Anyway, as freaking Jaden grabs, I don't know, maybe a Rams hat now.
No, he's probably gonna go grab a Patriot. He's gonna go grab a Tom Brady's deflated football.
Wait, when did
Whoa!
when did Matt Nagy get fired? At
He
what
got
point?
fired right after.
He got fired right after.
Right
after
after?
Matt Nagy. We were literally probably gonna go straight to that. What is he grabbing? This is like our mystery mouse Gatul at this point.
It's gonna be.
What's our mystery mouse Gatul?
Is that Brian Urlacher?
It's Urlacher.
Urlacher.
Yes! Yes!
What's up, baby?
Now we just gotta wait for the
It's a
Eagles
joke.
coach to
It's
get
a joke.
fired. I'll
It's
pull
a
it out.
joke.
Zara, do you want to tell us about Brian Urlacher?
No, I don't want to talk about Ryan Urlacher.
I love Brian Urlacher. Second greatest
No, I
modern
don't like.
linebacker of
I
his
don't
generation.
like Brady, but I love to see Brian Urlacher get juked out by Brady. That clip.
That's a great
I don't know if you've ever seen
It's a
it.
great clip. Great fucking clip.
Anyway,
Brian Urlacher, second
Talking
best
about-
linebacker of his generation.
talking about.
I can agree with that.
Bears.
Sad. Why do the Bears have good linebackers? That pisses me off.
The Bears just always have a good defense.
What? Who's won? Right?
I know it's annoying.
Ever since '85.
Although, except against the Packers, because we own them.
After this year, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Justin Fields. Justin Fields is coming, man.
Jordan Love will still be.
Jordan Love MVP.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, Matt Nagy got fired finally. A year or two.
Took him long enough. A year and a half too late.
I would have fired him after last year's playoff run, if that's what you want to call it.
You mean the MVP sputtle?
So yeah,
The
Matt
one and
Nagy's
only
finally
MVP.
gone. Ryan Pace, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Ryan Pace
Yes.
is also gone. So,
He should have been fired
Yeah.
2 years ago.
So, new GM
I
is
believe
going to be in
the
Chicago.
icing on the cake for him was Mitchell Trubisky. I believe that is what was the downfall of Ryan Pace.
That
I-
trade is awful.
So here's the thing about Mitch Trubisky. He wasn't as bad as a QB as people said.
At all.
It's just the fact that he was taking over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, that he will never be regarded as a good quarterback in this league. And he was a number 2 overall pick.
And he had Matt Nagy as his coach.
But how?
Why do you have a
I just remember I had this one.
have a Jets hat? Why do you own a Jets hat?
Wait. Fireman Ed all of a sudden out of nowhere. Jets, Jets.
I've been to 2 Jets games, and I couldn't wear a Pats hat there because I'd probably die.
Anyway,
They would
yeah.
attack me. So
No, they wouldn't.
So yeah, Ryan Pace.
New York
finally
fans can be
gone.
hostile, especially when they're losing.
And it's
They
the
felt
Jets
bad.
their whole
Can I
life.
just wait? I have a story.
I've been to MetLife a bunch of times.
I have a story.
I mean, I honestly I don't know because I never wore like an opposite jersey. I have actually, but it's not the rivals. So you know what? Maybe I don't.
So
I'm about to say,
think
wear a
wearing a
Pats
Packers
jersey?
is different than wearing a Patriots
Yeah,
jersey.
when they play
Wearing
the
a
Jets.
Pats jersey in the New East Rutherford sounds like a death sentence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have a story to tell though. So a couple weeks ago, Jags played the Jets in MetLife, and I had the opportunity to go. So I went, tailgated, went to the game, and we're sitting there, and I'm cheering my ass off, and there's maybe I would say in the area that I was sitting in, I could see maybe 5 Jags fans, and they're all wearing Trevor Lawrence jerseys. I'm wearing my Jalen Ramsey jersey.
Oh, you
And
look
then
like an
I'm just
outsider.
surrounded. Yeah, and then I'm just surrounded by Jets fans. So the game's going on. Actually, let me tell you about the Zach Wilson touchdown. That
The one
fucking
time the Jets
60
decided to play
yard-
good, it was against the Jags.
I just
Facts.
finished talking shit about Zach Wilson, saying how much of a bum he is, just for him to do that. The amount of Jets fans around me that were like, "Go fuck yourself! You're a fucking stupid fuck!" I'm just sitting there in shock, like, "What the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened?" And then I look up at the replay. Andrew fucking Wingard. The fact that this man is goddamn employed in the NFL. Holy fucking shit. I have never lost my shit like that in fucking years about a fucking player. I'm screaming. I'm like, I'm gonna go fucking kill it. Like, I'm fucking going insane. And Jets fans around me like, sorry. I'm so sorry for you. The fact that a Jets fan had to tell me that they're sorry for me.
That's
made me
probably the
realize
lowest
how
point
sad
of your
an
life.
It's the lowest point.
That made me realize how sad of an organization the Jags are. That a Jets fan told me that I'm so sorry for your team.
This is what the Jags organization looks like. This is my mouse pad I've been fucking with the whole time.
So moving on, finally to the Dolphins.
We're just gonna skip over Nagy. We just mentioned him
We're
once.
just gonna not talk about
We
Nagy.
mentioned him, but like it's
Yeah,
the Bears.
yeah.
Like they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
We already know.
No one wants
Like
to go to the
Justin Fields'
Bears.
progression's
No one
gonna
wants to
go
be with the
down.
Wait,
Bears.
before we go on,
It's the Bears.
am I okay? My computer's at like 9%. Don't have a charger. Am I able to join on my phone? I won't be able to get to the audio
Yeah.
for Audacity. Like on my phone, I won't have that app to do it.
Oh, Discord?
No, I have Discord. I'm talking about Audacity.
We're still recording here. We'll have your backup audio. Still good.
Okay, so I'll switch over soon.
All right.
All right.
Are we gonna wait?
We're gonna be taking
No,
a
we
brief
can talk
commercial
now.
break.
We'll just take a break after these 2 coaches, and then.
I can last for Brian Flores probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now on to probably the best head coach firing.
The best head coach fired.
This was the worst head coach firing in the last 10 years. Brian Flores.
I agree.
Yeah.
Everybody,
100%. Makes
everybody
zero
just give your
sense.
thoughts.
Okay,
You have one look.
I think the Dolphins are a poverty organization, and they are the. No, that's it. They're a poverty organization.
poverty
How
organization.
do you fire? How do you fire your best coach in such a long time? That literally took one of the the worst roster 3 years ago, and turned them around to go 10-6 and then 9-8. After, by the way, 1-7 and then winning 7 straight games. No team's ever done that. Lost 7 straight and won 7 straight in the same season. No team's ever done that.
They had a winning record.
He was a coach of the year candidate, and they fired him. Why?
They're a poverty franchise.
Poverty franchise.
And
Simple as that.
Jaden, I
it
know
is
you-
mind blowing to me. Brian Flores is one of the best coaches come out of the Belichick tree. One of them. He could be one of the top. I think he's honestly, out of all the coaches come out He could be because there's Vrabel. I don't know.
Vrabel
But
is not part of the coaching tree. He just played for Belichick.
I thought he was like a bat. Oh. Speaking of the coaching tree, you guys know Jerron Mayo, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard he's trying to be a coach.
He was the
He's a
linebacker
linebackers
coach,
for the
and
Patriots
he's
right now.
getting interviews for head coach, going straight to line. That's a pretty big jump.
I read
Yeah.
a mid-season
Pretty
article about that, and he was a name in there, and I would just look really confused. Like, Gerard Mayo's a fucking coach?
Hard.
Dude can't be no
Okay.
old. Gerard Mayo can't be no older than like
He
39.
good.
No.
Yeah, he's still in his like mid-30s.
I was gonna say that he's probably 35.
Yeah.
But then again, can't say shit about young coaches.
Yeah, we'll
We have
never
a bunch
stop.
of those fuckers now.
You have one of the best defenses in the league. You have a growing offense with a whole bunch of great players. And then you have Brian Flores, who takes your team from 1-7, win 8 straight. Or what was it? No, it was like you go
7 straight,
8-1,
lost one, and then win one.
and then you decide to fire him after beating the Patriots of all people.
As a Patriots fan,
I
it
don't
shocks
understand.
me that you're this upset.
I don't
Get
understand.
facts.
Because I was
as a
actually rooting
Patriots
for the
fan,
Dolphins this
you
year.
should be
I was actually rooting for the Dolphins this year. I wanted them to make it. They were doing so good. I wanted them to make it in.
See, I remember waking up and looking at all the coach fires, and then I see like just Brian Flores at the top, and I was like, nah, I'm not being some like really patriot because there's no way.
Barry McCockney, I got it again, but no.
0 cents. 0 cents. I will never understand that firing.
No one will.
So I hate it. I hated it so much.
As you being a Pats fan, that really boggles my mind that you hated it that much.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. How, like, I know the Dolphins beat you guys twice this year, but, like, besides that, do you really care for that? Because, like, I don't give a crap about the Lions.
I don't know. Like for me, although I'm a big Pats fan, I really have like sympathy and like I really root for teams that are having like turnaround seasons. And the Dolphins were one of them.
You have sympathy because you have fucking had success for 20 fucking years.
Exactly.
Fucking spoiled fucking brat. Back into it though. Brian Flores, let me tell y'all something about the Miami Dolphins. Back in 2019, when he got hired, everyone knew, and I think we can all agree, that the Miami Dolphins had the worst roster in the NFL. Can we all agree?
Yes.
100%, they were an awful team, and they were getting blown out.
Miami Miracle
59
still
to
haunts me.
10.
59 to 10 week one. So yes, everyone expected,
59 to 10.
and I think they did.
They did. It was like 46 to 0.
Not only did the Miami Dolphins expect to lose, they had a saying, tank for Tua. They wanted Tua Tagovailoa, and they said tank for Tua. But Brian Flores, you know what he did? Yes, they started the year off, I want to say, 0-6.
Yeah.
You know what they finished the season at?
5-11, right?
They finished the season at 6-10. Finished the season at 6-10. After starting the season 0-6, they finished at 6-10.
I remember that year. It was the 1-7 Bengals against the 1-7 Dolphins. And it was called the Tank Bowl.
It was a great game.
It was a Tank Bowl. That's the crazy part. But that game, yes, it was a Tank Bowl at the time, and then the Dolphins turned it around. Well, didn't they have the third pick?
Dolphins had the
Dolphins
fifth pick, and they still got Tua.
Yeah.
So
And
they
then
tanked
who would have
for Tua.
known that the
guy
tanking
after.
worked?
Yeah.
Both
So-
Burrow and Tua, they end up turning their franchises around.
Burrow came in the year after, didn't he? I don't know. He did go. Yeah, you're
Burrow
right.
same year.
Yep. So the next year, they go 10-6. Xavier Howard leads the league in interceptions. They had a top 5 defense. They were top 5 in sacks. They were top 5 in turnover differential. It's just, Tua's rookie season, the offense wasn't really there. It was shaky at times. They had an opportunity to get to the playoffs, week 17. The Bills blew them out. They didn't get in.
I also believe, I think it was 18 straight games, the Bills had a turnover, and then it continued on to the season that just happened.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, each game they had a turnover, like ending in something during the season.
Yeah. So if we go back to Brian Flores' first year, after going 0-6, if you're keeping track, he then went 16-12. And then this year, he went obviously, 1-7 to start the first 8 games. The next 8 games, he went 7-1. In between that, 7 straight losses, 7 straight wins. Still had a top 10 defense. Pretty sure they're top 5 in sacks. Jalen Phillips was top 5 in all rookie sacks. Javon Holland, who is another rookie safety. I think he should have been looked at Defensive Player of the Year if Micah Parsons, or Defensive Rookie of the Year if Micah Parsons wasn't, Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
So
Xavier
they
Howard
kind
was
of,
coming off of a super year.
yeah, Xavier Howard's still playing well. I think he had maybe 6 or 7 interceptions. Byron Jones was,
Yeah,
wasn't
Byron
Byron
Jones,
Jones
that
at the
acquisition.
Cowboys, but he's still Byron Jones. So they still had a good team.
Sorry, if we're being honest, the opponents really wasn't the best. Like, we're talking so great about them, so we need to remember the opponents really weren't that good.
They weren't the best, but the fact that they were shutting them down is impressive.
Their defense is legit.
Yes. So it's not like they were winning, 26-24 every game. Like they were winning 23-10, 26-10, 22-10 on Thursday Night Football. Do you want to tell us about that, Zach? No, Zach, you don't want to tell us about 22-10?
With that Lakers game, that's where it started.
Yeah. So, and then he turned around, got through 9-8, had a 4-2 record against New England. The last 3 against New England were wins. So the fact that they fired him, and he at this point, everybody bought into Brian Flores. Everybody loved what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does this hurt the team, Tua, his development down the drain. Jalen Waddle, development down the drain. Javon Holland, down the drain. Jalen Phillips, down the drain. I guarantee the defense is going to not be anywhere close to a top 20 unit. Not even top 10, top 20. The offense is going to regress. Tua is then going to become a bust. Because everyone's saying that Tua is a bust right now. You're just fooling yourself. You're not just watching the games. Tua, yes, he has bad throws. Every guy this early in the career has a bad throw. But he gets wins. Tua has a winning record as a quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So firing Brian Flores doesn't just ruin the head coaching position. Now the organization is going to be in shambles because next year I guarantee you they're going to fire the GM out of a desperation move after the head coach is terrible. I don't see the Dolphins competing for a playoff spot in the next 5 years. I really don't.
5 years, wow.
5 years, that's a bit much.
This is firing Brian Flores is going to impact them for the long run. It happened with the Lions when they fired Jim Caldwell. Since Jim Caldwell left, Jim Caldwell, the last year he was there, or the year before he got fired, he made the playoffs. The year after he went 9-7, they fired him because of mediocrity. But guess what?
I don't think
Those 4 years Jim Caldwell was with the team with the Lions was the best 4 years they had in the last 15 years.
But I'll say though, I think the problem with that is Jim Caldwell was not that good of a coach. But I'll say that I think Matt Patricia was just so bad. But I see what you're saying.
But like it's hard to replace like
Even a decent coach.
even the thing with Jim Caldwell and why I compare him to Brian Flores. The 4 years he was there, he only had a losing record once. That was his first year. They went 7-9. The other 3 years, they went 10-6, 8-8, 9-7, and they made the playoffs 2 of those years. Or 10-6, 9-7, 9-7. Made the playoffs.
From personal experience, though, Jim Caldwell is not that good.
Yes, like, I understand he's not that good, but
But
at
I
the
do
same
understand
time,
what you're saying. He's a
he
decent
made the
coach,
playoffs.
and he's not as good as Brian Flores, which just makes it seem like the Dolphins could fall off a lot harder than the Lions even did.
Yes.
Hmm.
So the Dolphins are. This is going to be detrimental to their development. And Tua, I wouldn't be surprised if Tua gets traded next year because
Two
Dolphins
might
fans
get
are
traded
saying.
for Watson at this point.
That's a crazy take because I understand what you're saying with the whole Brian Flores and Tua correlation. But to get traded, that's crazy.
Maybe not traded, but like Dolphins fans are not. He's not going to last to his 5th-year option.
I don't think he's gonna last past this offseason. I think what Martell said is right. I think this move was a power move by Stephen Ross into forcing his GM saying, "Look, I fired the coach. Get me Deshaun Watson." I think that's what this move was.
But the thing with Deshaun Watson, the only reason why he considered Miami was because of Brian Flores. He came out and said that when this was all going on. He was like, "Yes, I really like what Brian Flores is doing down in Miami.
Well,
I would
shit.
love to be a part of that organization."
Well, shit.
So now that he's gone, Deshaun's definitely not. Well, one is Deshaun Watson ever going to play a football game again?
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's what I was wondering. Like, is he
Because
coming back?
that legal stuff, we still have. He still has to deal with that.
Still all over the place. I haven't heard anything.
It's getting settled, but like right now, it looks to all signs of he's innocent.
I mean, I
It
have
looks to he's gonna be,
explained.
but nothing's for sure.
I remember writing an article about him last year. There's the time when there was like 22 cases at the point.
It's still 22.
Yeah.
Well, so I
It's
read
still 22, but like nothing else is developed yet, so it looks like he's innocent because no one's really saying anything.
I read the like the case file or whatever you call it. You know, the Jaden. What's the smart term for that?
I think that's what it is. Just case. I don't fucking know.
So I read that because you know.
Think you're looking
Deshaun
for a
Watson-
briefing?
Yeah. So I read that. 21 of the 22 women that accused Deshaun Watson lied.
Yeah.
21 of the 22. Only one, like, I couldn't find, like, or, like, one was, like, actually, like, somewhat true, but, like, she didn't really come out and say anything. They just, like, had no information about her.
I
The
think
other
that's what they're
21
waiting on, the one girl.
Yeah. The other 21, like, they said, oh, yeah, he did this, he did that. But, like, they kept going back to him to be his personal trainer. Or, like, I remember this quote unbelievably. One goes, it affected me so much that I couldn't be a personal masseuse anymore. But yet, 2 weeks later, you're still picking up jobs, and you're still going to Deshaun Watson's house. And then you ask Deshaun Watson to be like your boyfriend.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was just one example of the 20.
Like speaking of Deshaun Watson, and this is kind of correlating, not really. No, we said we think he's gonna come back. We don't know. Even then, I feel like they could trade Deshaun Watson for the very reason that David Mills, I think, can be a franchise quarterback. I 100% think that he
Mm-hmm.
can be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, Ryan.
I think he can
could.
too.
He absolutely could.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
Jade. I never
Uh-huh.
disagreed that Davis Mills can be a franchise QB. But the fact that you say that Davis Mills has a better future in the next 3 years than Trevor Lawrence is despicable.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think David Mills. It's either him or Max Jones has the best rookie quarterback season.
I agree with that.
And I'm not even like saying it's just Davis Mills had a great year, and with what he's done, with how bad that roster is, it's insane.
And I also agree with that. I think what Davis Mills, with the situation that he was kind of just thrown into, he did the best he could. And Davis Mills has shown that he can play in the NFL. Now, will it be with the Texans? Who knows? Because as soon as they get if Deshaun Watson comes back, well, okay, there you go, Deshaun Watson play. He's not gonna say no. Or I mean, kind of did, but
No, I feel like they'd still trade Deshaun. Because now that they have
They
Davis,
have
they
to.
don't want to get rid of him. I think they're going to trade Deshaun and get some assets for him.
I agree with you 100%. Like,
so
Davis Mills is the reason why they can get value out of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. If they can trade Deshaun for like a good running back or a good receiver, that could boost the Texans up a lot. They need a good running back though.
I think they should trade Deshaun Watson for Eddie Lacy and a bag of chips.
And at least he's gonna eat the bag of chips.
I was about to say.
What if they do a swap?
That'd be the funniest goddamn thing ever. And Deshaun Watson, that's low for Deshaun Watson's value though. If I'm the Texans, I want to pick in there too.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that's pretty fair value with how great McCaffrey is.
But how he's injured.
They get a star and Christian McCaffrey, and they give up Deshaun Watson, and the Panthers get the quarterback. That sounds like a great trade.
You know what?
The Panthers are going to be wary of that though, because they haven't seen he's been out of commission for a couple of years now, so they'd be wary about it.
His value has gone down.
Because
Just gets hurt all the time now.
That's why if I'm the Texans, I want more.
But
When he's healthy, he's not the best running back in the league.
I
said this during 2018. He's not. It's Derrick Henry still. Still Derrick. No. I don't care if you can catch it. You
McCaffrey
can't
is
be
the most
tackled better
versatile
than that.
running back in the league.
Thank you.
McCaffrey, Henry, yes, he's very hard to bring down because of his size and who he is and his strength. But Christian McCaffrey is so shifty, you can't even get a camera.
Look,
I think
Christian
the perfect
McCaffrey
trade.
is
Go
shifty,
ahead.
but he gets hurt.
I think the perfect trade for the Panthers for Christian
What is
McCaffrey.
Crazy runs he made.
I think the perfect
What is
trade
this?
would be this. Now this is a scenario, and just hear me out. Just hear me out.
What is it?
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey
Okay.
for Saquon Barkley. Thank you. Good night. Listen, both top 10 running backs, top 10 pick running backs,
Okay, well, I'm about to
and
say.
they both
Saquon
need a
is
new.
not.
I think they both need a new change of scenery. So just straight up Saquon for Christian, right? They're basically the same running back, and they're basically going through the same
Hold on, wait.
situation. No quarterback, no.
He's going for
well,
his next mystery mouse tool. What is it now? What is he pulling out of this? What is he pulling out of Toodles?
I think it's going to be Saquon Barkley's left ACL. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh my Jesus.
You hate the Giants.
And this is a perfect transition into
Joe Judge.
Joe Judge, baby. Joe Judge.
No, you mean
An
you gotta say
animal.
like Joe Judge. You
He
gotta
is
say
such
like how
a
he
good
talks in his
coach.
interviews.
Players from the year before calling him. We want to come back, Joe. We want to be on the Giants.
We want to be on the worst thing since the boat photo.
Since the boat photo, the Giants have had the worst record in the league. The
They
Giants
don't have 20 wins since that photo.
The Giants
They
have not
18
had a
wins.
winning record in 5 seasons. Think about that. Think about that. In the last 5 seasons, the Giants have not only started off 0-1, they have never had a winning record.
Man, look.
I think we can just skip right past Joe Judge. No one wants
He's
him
just
there.
so bad.
Everybody hates him. Yeah. No, because I think the original
yeah. Why
report
is Trent
was they were
Baalke
going
not
to keep
fucking
him.
fired, huh?
And then Giants fans were freaking
Why
out.
is
Him and
Trent
Daniel
Baalke not
Jones.
fired? Can you answer that for me? Why is our GM not fired? No one can answer
Still
that.
on that.
But apparently, according to Mike Garofalo, pressure works at Jags fans. Go fuck yourself, Mike Garofalo. Guess what? For the last 2 fucking weeks, we were clowns. We were clowns. We went to Jacksonville as a clown show. And guess who the real clowns that day? The Indianapolis Colts. They were the real fucking clowns that day. But apparently pressure works. No. Sean Khan hates winning. For the last 10 fucking years, we had only one winning season. And then let's trade everybody away. And let's pay Blake fucking Bortles! Anyway.
You good?
I still have his
Got what
autograph
you
up
needed
there.
out? I feel like I need my pen and my paper to talk about your problems like it's therapy. Hold on. Where's a pen?
Do you want to rant, Zach, about your Ravens? Do you want to rant about them?
Fuck no, I don't.
No?
I'm gonna rant. Trust me. When we get to the Chiefs Steelers game, I'll rant then.
Okay.
Well, anyway, that was the coaching carousel. Black. So,
I'll sneak my sister to leave before I can rant. I have a 6-year-old down here.
Jaden, I don't know how to do this. You ended Jaden.
All right, we'll be back for part 2 about the playoff seedings. I guess that's where we end it.